So Andre Ward comes out, and Andre Ward speaks. Just got out the gym. God damn, I'm tired. So Andre Ward comes out, he puts out a tweet, and on the tweet, I guess, he says there's a time for fighters to fight basically lower level competition. There's time for showcase fights. But basically then it's time where you got to put your fighter in there against some real people. And if you continuously put your fighter in against that low level competition, you're doing them a disservice, because when the real comes, they won't be ready. And hey, people didn't know what they're talking about. Are they talking about Tyson Fury or the situation? Are they, quote, talking about Tank Davis? Which some people say, which I don't understand, because even with Tank Davis, I would say, who's Tevin Farmer been fighting exactly? Who's Devin Haney fighting exactly? And he's new, he's fresh, but I'm not like disrespecting him or dissing him in any way. I'm just saying, just in general, like with everybody and what they're fighting. Who's he fighting really? You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's a situation where all these other guys are fighting this super high level of competition, you know what I mean, where they're being, sharpening, I guess you say, their skills. So when, let's say, Gervonta Tank Davis fights him, he's just going to get slapped up. Who's Lomachenko really fighting? Who has Lomachenko fought in his last couple of fights that would be considered someone that would last 6 rounds against Gervonta Tank Davis? You know what I mean? So, I just had to throw that in or whatever. But back to Andre Ward. With what he said. I have no issue with anybody having any type of philosophy. I have no problem with anybody coming out and putting out a particular viewpoint. But when you get put up into that same situation, you have to have that same energy. You have to stay fast, be the same. You gotta act the same. You gotta have the same philosophy when that brings, it's brought towards you. Andre Ward, as a fighter, clearly he was about that life, and he lived that philosophy to the T. But now you're a promoter, you're a manager, and that basically the message that he was putting out there was towards basically the promoters and the managers and the networks. So that message also has to fall onto you, because you're someone with the fighter. Your fighter's a champion now. He went through all those stages that you were talking about. He went through all those stages. It's like you had gone through all those stages. But as soon as you were, quote, ready, you put yourself into the Super 6 against the killers, against the top dudes out there, in a situation where you weren't even seen as the second or third person that might win that gauntlet. You know what I mean? They didn't see you as a threat to win it. But you went up in there, you took on against the best in the world, and you came out victorious. So now you, as a manager, you have to live that same life. You have to live that same philosophy. You can't throw out messages like that towards other managers, towards other promoters, then you yourself not live that same particular life. Yet you not put your fighters into those same exact situations that you're talking about. You got a Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson was coming up. He went through his maturation process. When he first came out through the gate, it was kind of sketchy. It was kind of iffy. People were like, ooh, why are these people lasting, going the distance against this guy? This guy's supposed to be the next big thing. He should be taking these guys out. But over time, he made adjustments. He got better, worked on his game, and he's a beast right now. And not only is he a beast right now, he's now a champion. He is now a champion. So that means, according to you and what you're saying, it means it's time for him to take on the best out there, to take on those other champions. Now, you try to get him a shot against a UK kid. Don't remember his name right now. Try to get him, F him though. He wasn't trying to fight no Gary Russell or anybody like that anyway too, so F him. But you try to get that fight against him. You weren't able to do that. You weren't able to do that. Now Shakur Stevens is about to have a showcase fight. That's what he has coming up next. He's fighting a showcase fight against mid to low level competition. Now after that, due to the fact that he's a champion, we all know Shakur Stevens about that life. You know, you say, yeah, I don't care who it is. You could be a 200-pound dude. You say something to Shakur Stevenson, he's going to be ready to go. You catch him in the street, say something to him, all that, you know, Olympic medal, you know, professional, all that's going to go out the window. He's going to be ready to go. So we know he'll, and that's for free. So when there's money put into it, you know he's going to be down to do whatever against anybody in that weight class. I have zero inclination that kid will hesitate against fighting anybody at 126 pounds. Anybody. So after this fight's done, what you should be pushing is for him to be fighting against Gary Russell. You should be calling Gary Russell right now. This is a veteran, 126-pound champion who's a beast, who holds no allegiance to anyone. You know, he fights on PBC, but he's not signed to PBC. He's not signed to Al Haymon. He just does business with Al Haymon. He shops himself around all the time. All the time. It's just that at the end of the day, Al Haymon always still seems to be, at this point, keeps giving him the biggest checks and the biggest opportunities. So he stays working with him. So this is the time to put your, you know, action towards your words. Time to cash that check. It's time for you to set up that fight. You should be on the phone right now with Gary Russell, like, yo, what's it gonna take? You know, get Bob Arum, put the numbers up. Like, you go ahead, you go fight. You know what I'm saying? You go ahead. He's gonna fight in this next fight. We want you to be there. We want a deal set before that, so then, you know, you can be there. You can come over there, and right after that fight, we can start the promotion for this big fight between you two against a big name in a big, huge unification bout, in a bout where literally no one will give two-ish about anything else that's happening at 126 pounds. Nothing. In a fight where the winner could become a big, elevate themselves into a star off this particular fight, where the other 126 champions then all of a sudden want to fight them. This is your opportunity. So Andre Ward, be about that life, you know, because a couple of situations have been happening lately where you talk and then you start dancing around the things that you say when, you know, criticism comes towards you. You know, so that's what I'm expecting next. That's what I'm expecting to be pushed, because both those guys have said they're willing to fight each other. Shakur said he's willing to fight. Gary Russell said he's willing to fight. Gary Russell said all these other guys are probably not going to fight me. The only guy who's going to be willing to fight me is probably going to be Shakur Stevenson. So if we can do that fight, let's do that fight. So, you know, I've said it about 5 times in this video, but I'll say it again. Andre Ward, it's time for you to make that phone call. And it's time for you to get it done. Because right now, unless you ride with the same things that's coming out of your mouth, all it is basically is just words, you know, and it puts you into a situation where you gotta say you're full of shit, you know. So we'll see what happens. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.